Hi there, welcome back to the Noah Presgrove case. What I have today is going to shock you, but in addition, what we need to start off first is a key comment by Carter Combs, what she's stated in support in defence of Jack Newton previously at some point. Why are we looking back at it now? Because I think we might have briefly acknowledged it in a previous video, because supposedly it's been deleted. So what does that mean? Carter Combs has deleted a comment. But why exactly? That's coming from the perspective of a post an individual on either the army or case discussion page saying, why are we dirty deleting stuff? Now, I first heard that slightly cringy line when it came to the Dylan Rounds case. It was a line what Kaylee, the cackling individual, would use quite often. But the term of dirty delete is probably when you've done something, said a bad thing, or you've made a mistake, you've effed up, and instead of owning it, or at least keeping it there so other people can witness, you've deleted it quick in hopes no one will see it. So it's that. If you look back to some of my videos in the past, there might be a moment where I look like a bit of an idiot or so, but I keep it there so people can document it. They can see the change with time, even with mysteries, how I see it one way and then it changes later. I keep both videos up so you see the organic natural growth and whatnot, but not everybody likes that themselves. Some people delete, cleanse, remove, in hopes that they can get away with it so they can go under the radar. But when the act of deleting stuff, it can raise a few eyebrows. The theme of a potential comment being deleted by Carter Combs, most likely by themselves, unless it was reported a comment by some people and auto-removed by Facebook. Gotta acknowledge all these different angles. It wouldn't be a surprise because there has been a theme previously to do with phones being factory resetted, things being deleted. It could be happening once again. It happened at the party, supposedly, and now it's happening online. In defence, not by my own words, but from what other individuals have said within the case, such as Brooke Bounds Carter, I believe in defence of Carter Combs, that Carter's phone wasn't factory reset at the party. It was either factory reset or a new phone was bought days or a week before because of some car crash or something. If it needs to be reiterated or cleared up, the key individuals can do that down below in the comment section. Not everybody's going to agree with it, and maybe quite a few will say it's complete BS. I'm just reiterating what's been said previously, such as on this YouTube channel. Then you can compare, contrast yourself. But before we go any further, because there's a range of things to get through today, and I'll tell you the order. Be sure to stick around for that key point which will shock you in a very weird way. Welcome to those that are currently here in this live premiere. Be sure to share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. And by the end of this video, if you got any additional thoughts, questions, drop a comment down below under this video and we can respond back later. You'll also find a pinned message by me with additional links if you do want to support this channel. And if you want to catch up on recent coverage by me, if you have missed out on any videos, top right of the screen, there'll be an I symbol, click on that, and then you'll get the video options and the full playlist of the Noah Presgrove case. I want to say big shout out to a new presence, an individual that popped out of nowhere. I think they're called Peaceful Christ. They arrived and delivered last night with a blessing. Super chat or super sticker. Shout out to Christ. Very good of them. There we go. It's a good username as well. And we've seen Watcher of Crazy return back in recent times, so that's always good to see too. And yeah, in terms of the order of what we're doing today, I'm going to present to you the screenshot of the comment, analyze, break it down, make sense of it, check how truthful it really is. If there's any blurred lines, misunderstandings, or anything dodgy going on, we can do that. And then we'll take a look on Facebook at the comments, the replies, responses, what people had to say about it, if it has been cleared up or if it's once again another misunderstanding, time will tell. And then hopefully there should be time. We'll go to the comment section of the last video that I did because there's some eye-opening points made. Acknowledge that. And then we get to the the shocking part, the pathetic situation. More about that later. So without further ado, let's begin the main part of this video. As you can see on screen, this is the comment by Carter Combs. As for the context of the post, the thread, the page, the group it came from, that seems to be unknown, which is very unfortunate, but kind of used to it by now. Hopefully when we get to the comment section later, there might be some references and answers. You see the username, it is the real Carter Combs, and the profile picture of herself and Jack Newton because they're together. Is it her main account? Is it an alt account? Who knows? Because these party goers have 3 or 4 separate accounts, whether that be on Instagram, whether that be on Facebook. Seems a bit excessive, in my opinion. We've had it in the past where Carter Combs had an alt or default account with a username, but default profile picture, but who she was friends with, tied in with at the time of a supposed breakup with Jack, but ever since things have got back together. I would zoom in, but the screen seems to spaz out. Hopefully you can see it clearly already. I'm going to read it out to you anyway, so don't worry there. It does say posted 4 minutes ago. Does that mean real time, as in right now? No. Likely when the screenshot was taken around the time of when the comment was. So yeah, Carter says, the 911 call was made at 5:53 or close to that, I believe. So the whole 5:15 is wrong, and the phones and calls and text will prove that like they did. Right, first of all, I guess this must be in response, a part of a conversation to do with Tyler Hardy. Tyler Hardy made the third and final phone call, which was 5:53. The one before 5:53 was something like 5:46. That was by Tyler Hardy himself, but it was a failed call. It was simply static because of a bad signal in the area. The very first call, though, was by Tyler H., a completely different person in his own truck, who was first to see Noah but could not stop on the highway because vehicles were behind him, including the Tyler Hardy, which is a big coincidence when it comes to the names of these individuals. First name the same, first letter of their last name the same as well. How creepy, but it is what it is. It was around 5:43 when the first call was made by Tyler H. That was successful. But Carter seems to be just focusing in on Tyler Hardy here, saying the call was made at that time. But it wasn't the or the only call made, was it? Because 2 were made before that. One by Tyler H himself, Tyler Hardy, and then the other one, the original Tyler. So, let's just say that the 911 call, as the time what we've seen over and over again, the same time as in when Jack Newton texted his father. Coincidence, isn't it? That exact timing of 5:53. 2 major events happening in 2 separate locations within a mile distance. How perfectly timed that the 911 call by Tyler Hardy at 5:53 was the same exact time when Jack started texting his father about where to meet and the fishing trip situation and the direction one was going to go, which would have been towards the highway. Anyway. But to say that call will show that Caden's timeline of the 5:15, the news of Noah's death coming about, is wrong. I guess it's because Carter Combs couldn't comprehend the fact that if it was 5:15 when Jack knew, and then partygoers knew as well, including Carter herself, because she should have known, because she would have been there herself to check the time as in when Jack did come back, couldn't comprehend maybe, or don't want to admit that if true, at 5:15 it took nearly an hour later for actual action to be taken and for it to actually be reported into police. Because how could friends or a best friend know an hour earlier but do absolutely F all? Well, in defence of other partygoers such as Caden, Isaac, Brylan, Mikey, if they were late to the party, no pun intended, to the scene, they would have already assumed that whoever was there on site first would have made the call to authority, so they wouldn't question. But obviously, if it's true about 5:15, No call was made at that point. And just before 5:15 as well, when Jack supposedly was at the highway to find out what happened to Noah, no call made. How strange, right? Anyway, let's continue on. Carter says, I also just want to mention, out of everyone there present at the party, Jack Newton has been the only one to take a lie detector willingly and pass it too, and he's been cleared from the investigation. Right. Has Jack truly been cleared from the investigation? Is that all because of the polygraph, the lie detector test? If he had never have done that, could he still have been a part of the investigation? It's interesting how someone like Jack, who's supposedly been cleared from the case, is the same individual that knows the time of death with Noah, right? And how it's been worded in the conversations, Jack knew firsthand. In defense of Jack, others have suggested, oh no, it wasn't him who found out firsthand, he was told by others, such as police. Okay then, the next question would be, if it was second-hand, third-party information came from authorities, then why wasn't that bloody information passed on to the ME, medical examiner, to then at least fill out the time of death for Noah? Okay, cause of death could still be unknown, but time of death should have said 4 a.m, right? Because if that's not the case and 4 a.m. is a complete lie, then why would Jack even need to mention it in the first place? Why even lie about the time of death? If you weren't there and you weren't present and you got an alibi, then you wouldn't know the time of death. To know would mean, firsthand at least, being present in the moment to witness the final breath of Noah, right? And even if people scrapped that and said, well, Jack's just been told that and this and that, well, let's look back at the horse's mouth and see, why didn't they take action then? Why didn't they reach out to the ME? Why was there no communication between the ME and the police then, if there is an idea of time of death? It's so dodgy, in my opinion. And yeah, we can keep going back to it. It might sound like a broken record, but have we had clarity on it since? Has it been reinforced or debunked since? No, I wouldn't say so. Just like with the threats. Why would you say it in the first place? It's very reckless. Doesn't help the case, doesn't help the situation or the community. It digs you into a hole and it makes people more skeptical. Anyway, the next point mentioned by Carter is also, I'd like to mention that Jack Newton didn't just walk in and tell us Noah had passed away. He came in running, buried his head into my bed saying Noah was gone, stayed for a minute and said, I got to get back to Noah, can't leave him alone there. Also, like the phones do show, none of us went back to sleep. I mean, how do phones show whether people went back to sleep or not? Do all these partygoers have like apps on the phone which monitors sleep patterns or something? Weird. I mean, like, if you used to say, you know, our phones prove that we weren't in the area or here or there because they pinged at the house, okay, but what are you basing the evidence from the phones of whether someone sleeps or not? Does the phone have an inbuilt detector of when someone drifts off to sleep? What? Now, to refer back to the bit about running and bursting through the door, making it sound like, you know, that's the reality of what really did happen. Okay then, Carter, fair enough. But Caden Pressey did say, whether you agree with the timeline or not with his, Caden was consistent with what Carter says, as in storming on in, bursting on through. So there's no disagreement there, right? But whilst Carter Combs basically is defending and supporting Jack Newton, which could be a conflict of interest considering one cares for one another and will naturally stick up for one another, besides that issue, it's the fact that there's a contradiction. Carter Combs is trying to back up Jack. Carter Combs is saying what happened and what Jack did, but Jack himself has gone against what Carter Combs said here, because Jack Newton said in the last Partners in True Crime interview, when he made it back to the party house to let people know, he just walked on in, not too fast, not too slow. He may have buried his head. He calmly said that Noah passed away. He was somewhat upset because Avery, who may have been resting on the couch or nearby, said to Jack, Are you okay? Are you all right? And then Jack revealed. Very calm and slow, isn't it? That's what Jack said in his own words. What Jack has stated based on how he approached the party house and how he told people in a slow, somewhat calmed, subdued way doesn't match with what Carter Combs says here. That he came running in, buried his head into my bed. Noah was gone. Stayed for a minute. I got to get back to Noah. I can't leave him alone like that. It does not match whatsoever. Carter is trying to support Jack, and yet Jack is inconsistent, or at least saying a completely different story to how he approached the house with what Carter says. This is a major issue, a breakdown in communication, not in sync with one another. That's the reality there, right? What else do we have? Also, like the phones do show, none of us went back, me, Logan Jernigan, Avery, and Jasmine Milan, and Jasmine Milan's parents, Renee Milan and whoever their husband is, stayed outside of the house, crying, not understanding any of this, just like you. But this is also spreading lies, and I will stand by that in court too. And I pray to God Noah gets justice and all of his family and friends have peace. This has gone on way too long with no answers. Noah is the only victim here. Well, could you say the family are kind of a victim, or some people in the community are a victim to threats and false claims and slanderous points made along the way? I mean, you could even say, supposedly, from what's been said by those on the inside, that Carter Combs, Avery, some of the girls that actually live at the party house at one point were victims of harassment and damage to the property by unknown individuals. Right? There's different scenarios, right? Yeah, you can say ultimately Noah is the victim because the case is about him and should be about him only. But I think the way people have approached it along the way, in the case or outside, it's added more layers to the overall situation. But it's interesting how to say me, so Carter Combs, Logan, Avery, Jasmine Milan, and her parents. No mention of Stephanie Milan. Once again, a key named individual that goes under the radar. Isn't that strange? So basically, Carter is saying the girls, herself, and Jasmine Milan's parents. No mention of Stephanie Milan, who claimed on Snapchat to be a party goer, even though Cade and Pressy never mentioned that she was there, only present when Jasmine Milan's parents were there at 6:30 onwards. Stephanie Milan, supposedly sister to Jasmine Milan. Why hasn't Carter Combs acknowledged that Stephanie Milan was present, at least at some point? That's a bit dodgy as well, isn't it? And for the girls to be all outside, crying, confused, well, Cade and Pressy said the girls were inside the house gathering together at one point within the kitchen area and then coming into the living room place. Carter Combs doesn't mention anything about Cade and Pressy, Brylan, Swear, Isaac, Mikey, where they were. What were they doing then? Carter doesn't seem to acknowledge that. So be sure to let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What we need to do now is look at some of the responses on Facebook. Here we are. So I'm just going to keep it on most relevant. So it's not going to show all the comments, but some of the higher rated ones with more engagement. So hopefully it'll be better quality. Amanda says, you guys have blown any chance to hear what they, such as Carter Combs, have to say with the way you've treated the partygoers and certain family members and friends. If someone was calling you or your daughter a murderer, would you guys be speaking on here still? Response-wise, we'll try and look at them all. Look at how Caden Pressy has been treated and he still talks. That's a very valid point. Amanda, has he been called a murderer though? Well, the thing is, Amanda, if you've done your research, Caden Pressy's private interview was the only interview to be leaked or hacked. How interesting is that? Oh, all the other party goers, cooperated with police, did the interviews, spoke with the police and authorities. Did any of those interviews get leaked or hacked? No. So why Caden Pressey, the only one? A time where you're supposed to feel secure, that there's supposed to be a level of stability, confidentiality, that trust, that feeling broken after that point when you find out that your interview, private, has been leaked, been hacked public, and Caden is the only one to experience that. Isn't that odd, Amanda? And it's not just that, because what happened after that point was, of all people, private investigator Kathy Bingo Hall Bingham ended up questioning and doubting Caden Pressey and suggesting that he played a role in Noah's death, saying, is it normal to return back to the party house and just sit there and watch TV and not do much about it? What else is he supposed to do? Oh, but never mind about conflict of interest, family-related ties with Brylan Sweat, who went to sleep straight after coming back from the scene. Oh, that's perfectly fine. Isaac and Mikey doing the same. But no, let's just focus in on Caden. And yet still to this day, Caden is present and does what he can. So I think you might need to do a bit more research, Amanda Huerta. Michelle, say it louder. Calling someone a murderer will probably put a wrench in your plans to get someone to talk. And this is the thing, Amanda, or Michelle. The fact that WarLike Wrath in the past has been accused of a trafficker, been accused of doxing people, falsely accused of being some kind of cult, falsely accused of hacking into people's electronic devices and somehow deleting stuff, falsely accused of having fake multiple accounts and VPNs and all that BS, multiple false claims of clickbait with zero evidence or proof, many upon many claims and labels, being called a misogynist, being called all kinds of things towards me with zero evidence or proof, but the aim and intent by many is to try and either push me away from a case or destroy my credibility and have a chain negative effect on me and future people that come and, watch my videos. And yet I'm still here. I am one of the most attacked individuals out there. I'm not saying on a big scale. What I may experience could be minor compared to what others have gone through. But if we're talking about consistency and over a period of time, I am the most attacked individual because it just so happens that I am the most consistent individual when covering cases. Not just one, but multiple. Yet I'm still here, right? What else? No, but when he saw the lies, he stepped up and he was the only friend to speak up for Noah. And that's most interesting. Caden Pressey has spoken up, trying to, in the name of Noah Presgrove, and yet Caden is simply a friend to Noah, not even a best friend, and yet, at least publicly, it might not be a fair comparison, but publicly at least, surface level, Caden's done more or spoken out clearly, interacted better than someone like Jack, who sounded like a pre-programmed robot. But that's just an observation. Because who knows what goes on in the background, how people feel, how people react, what goes on in Jack's mind. Everyone reacts differently. Don't worry, I'm including that balance. Brooke says to Shannon, how do you know the lack of wanting justice or helping find out who did it from the kids? Also, again, you don't have anything to say about you harassing the kids when they were first speaking out, no comment. See, this thing, it's kind of like a 50-50. If people did push back partygoers or persons of interest, even if people felt the need to or they were very passionate, it should have been controlled to an extent, because even when you might have to work with the devil, it's better doing that than completely pushing them away, because enemies could go underground, hard to find, hard to reach. You don't know what's going to happen next. You need to keep your enemies closer, more so than your friends. And obviously that hasn't been the case here within the communities, and that's what's gone wrong. And it's what's triggered and sparked a chain of constant drama and conflict with time. As I said, check my previous video out for reference there. Okay. The lack of one injustice. Did you see Jack give out his personal number online? Noah's sister-in-law said he was one of the few that have been helping. He put up a cross at the memorial. He and Carter have commented on here as well. Yeah. So, yeah, Jack's commented and reached out to help, but Jack has also contradicted himself many times and changed the story. How does that help the case? Giving out the time of death, but no follow-up afterwards. How does that help the case? It just causes headaches. What else do we have here? Caden has been given the opposite treatment, so it's been more open for him to speak on. I mean, you could say that Caden has had the red carpet rolled out for him, as for those on the community that have welcomed in, listened to what he's got to say. Maybe not to the same degree as external party goers, whether you say that there's an inbuilt bias to begin with. And general public that may question Caden Pressey or his credibility or his consistency, some have been told off, silence, which is a little bit strict. But someone like me, who has it mostly under control, I've looked at Caden, I've acknowledged the strengths, the weaknesses, the inconsistencies, just like how I have with Jack and some others. And I haven't been silenced because I do it in a more appropriate way with better language and wording. But furthermore, I'm doing it on YouTube. Maybe if what I said on YouTube, if I said on Facebook, it'll be a completely different outcome. Who knows? But that's the thing. When it comes to Facebook, I'm more of an observer. I don't bother posting. I never post, because I just don't feel the need to. I do my own thing on YouTube, keep my head down for the most part of it, and then make use of the Facebook pages to gather information, to learn on the spot and go from there. As for joining groups and explaining the reasoning behind it, all approved of, all above board and acknowledged by admins and whoever else in the background, all under control since day one of appearing in this case. What else do we have? Oh, Shannon, look at you never answering questions. Bless your heart. So we've got the little cat fights coming out, little claws, right? So if you do want to pause it, you can. I'm not going to answer my question up above I see. Imagine that. Y'all never do answer questions, just lie. Look in the mirror. Yeah. Going through screenshots, I forgot I had this little gem. Remember when you called Alicia Lee out for lying about Caden Pressey's story? Let's see that. A little bit small. I can't quite zoom in at the moment. Shannon Sullivan says to Alicia Lee, "You just need to stop because you're conflicting Caden's story. If he stopped drinking around 10-ish, then he would have told Noah, hey, I can take you home," considering he knew Noah wanted to go home. No one thinks he's a bad kid just for drinking. Just leave it up to Caden to talk. I know you want to stick up for your son, but you don't see what Caden saw and you weren't at the party. I'm trying to protect you and him both. #1. Do not argue with Stevie Howard. You won't get anywhere. He's going to say whatever she wants. Let her get. Do you see where I'm coming from? You'll conflict with Caden's story. Right. Right. So all Shannon Sullivan is saying here is that, Alicia, you weren't there. Let Caden talk. I know you want to defend Caden because your son and close together. It's very normal to do, but let Caden talk in his own time and let's try and get that consistency and understanding. And on the sideline, don't be contacting or communicating with this individual or Stevie Howard because it can backfire and get worse. I'm doing all of this out of care and concern for you and your son. The end. That's basically what Shannon Sullivan is saying here. No direct use or word as in lying or being a liar. No term, no word of lying or a liar has been used towards Alicia Lee from what Shannon Sullivan said in the past. So Brooke Bounds-Carter is putting wrong words into what Shannon Sullivan has said. So it's like that like a little bit desperation, forcibly using a screenshot, a conversation from the past and trying to change the words or trying to make an interpretation of what was said then and applying it into another outcome, which wasn't quite the case. Just like how Brooke Bounds-Carter said that because Robin Smith in the past said that it's not a murder, it's something else, then that basically means the whole family think that way too. That's what like Brooke Bounds-Carter said. The whole Noah Presgrove family believe it wasn't a murder and showed a screenshot. The actual screenshot was from a family member, just one. One family member's opinion doesn't represent the whole family, does it? So yeah, it's reckless. What else? You don't have to worry about me. No threat here. I don't threaten. Definitely not kids. Brooke Bounds-Carter says, I don't threaten people. Brooke is the same individual that sent a direct threat post on Facebook in the past, having reference to the Presgrove family about Stevie Howard, don't poke a mama bear because they could retaliate and you don't want the secrets and the dark and the dirtiness being revealed as in on the family or Noah Presgrove himself. You don't want that coming to light, do you? That's what Brooke said. A very specific threat back then. Okay? It's like other people have shown me screenshots, and other people have picked up on screenshots saying, here's a threat, and I've looked at the language, I've looked at the wording, no threat whatsoever. I think some people get a little bit emotional within this case and think just a word saying, I am going to pinch your melon. Oh my God, Fred. Oh God, red alert. Or someone says, I'm going to pour a little bit of water on the ground. I'm going to waste a bit of your liquid. Oh my God, is that a threat? That's going to put my life in danger, man. Oh no. You can see how silly it can get. So I think when it comes to analysing language and wording, just take a step back, take it in, look, listen, learn, think about it. Is it really a threat or not? A threat can be a message from a physicality, verbal communication, which may insinuate that they're going to do something truly bad to you, which could impact yourself and put your own life, your health at risk, at harm, danger, in danger, like a threat, right? Direct, indirect. But to say, I'm going to touch your wallpaper, I'm going to tilt your photo frame at a 45-degree angle, I'm going to turn that cross sideways, I'm going to set that clock back by 2 hours past midnight in Hong Kong time. Oh no, that is major threat. I am very scared of this. Long time no see, Victor. Can you save me right now? I need a good time. Things like that is not a threat. It gets a bit silly. Just wanted to put it in perspective. Let's move on. Okay. Blue Day chance it's been over a year. Insulting, blaming. Right. Let's move on. Maybe with a new sheriff, this BS will get taken care of. Solving or settling his case would look real good on his record. Michael Facecast, excellent question. Same question about the dirty deleting. I think that's why I left this group before. Which group though? Anything said about the combs gets deleted. Things that make you go, just makes them look more guilty. I fully expect a ban after this, so I'll say it again. That family is evil. Even if the girls weren't involved, that family has shown its character over the last year for sure. Is this to do with the Sofa Sleuth page? It could well be. It was likely deleted because it was blatantly lying. Nowhere in the screenshot does it say no one slept that night, which is what the poster implied. Editing to add, if the poster is the one that deleted it, it wasn't in favour of the Combs since they were trying to show Carter Combs was lying. Right. Basically, if that original post still remains on whatever page and it's just a particular comment which is no longer there, and you could say, oh, Carter Combs has deleted it. But in defence of Carter Combs, there is an exception. If Carter Combs' comment is a part of a thread, of a chain of comments, beginning with a different poster within that post itself, just bear with me. So let's just say a person called Bob left a comment on that post in the Sofa Sleuth page, and they said, hi there, I actually agree with what you're saying, Kerr, or how could you be saying that? You know, Carter Combs, I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding, Kerr. A few more comments below that under Bob's comment, which then becomes a comment thread of replies, a chain reply, and then maybe towards the bottom of the list, Carter Combs then replies giving her side of the story. If her comment is deleted, and it's the only one deleted in that thread, the chain of comments, then likely she got rid of it herself, or the person behind that account did, right? Other exception could be someone reported that comment and then it was auto-removed. But that doesn't seem likely because I don't think the comment breaks any violations or guidelines. There wouldn't be a need to remove it in that sense. The other exception, and it's a key one, if Carter Combs' comment was deleted but the entire thread was deleted as well, it would mean that Bob would have been the one to have deleted his comment, and when you delete your original comment, every reply underneath it is auto-deleted because it's all a part of that one original comment, a chain reaction, a chain thread. Does that make sense? It's like on YouTube, if I left a comment on my newer video saying, hi there, and then down below there was 60 replies, everyone saying, hi, if I deleted my comment, all 60 replies will be auto-deleted because they'll have nowhere else to go or remain because they're attached to that one original comment. And if I delete that original comment, everything else deletes as well. I just wanted to make that very clear. The anonymous poster deleted it, which anonymous was in fact wrong, so that's most likely why. At least to my knowledge, if you make a post on Facebook, I don't think you have the power to delete people's comments unless it's on your own page or profile, when you're in control and have those tools. It's just like with on YouTube, I'm in control of comments. You know, I could get rid of them, I could time certain people out because I'm in control. I am the owner of my channel and it's all taking place on my channel. But if I go over to Facebook and I join a group and I'm just a member, I do not have the power or control as the moderator or the owner of that page or group. Does that make sense? So this anonymous poster, if they're just simply a member, they probably won't have the power to delete comments. If the poster deleted it, that makes sense. I'm also not a fan of anonymous post. By now, I think the poster realised they messed up. I thought they tagged the admins for it to be reviewed. See, here's the thing. People are saying that, oh, a dirty delete of a comment, right? What about the whole post? If it's, you know, from like what Robbie says here, if you think that the poster messed up big time, and that's why they deleted what Carter's comment, wouldn't it have made more sense to delete the whole post and then it would have had a chain reaction of Carter's comment being deleted too? Either way, it doesn't matter if it's been deleted or not. There has been contradictions. We'll get to that shortly again. Tim, I'm not seeing anywhere in this message where Carter says that the parents were there when Jack came in. You just added those words. Caden also says that Renee was there. What's your point? Caden says that Renee was there. Caden said at around 6:30 when Renee, husband, Stephanie, Milan and her boyfriend all arrived. As for Carter Combs mentioning the girls, herself and Renee, Jasmine Milan's parents, were all outside crying. No timestamp was given. So roughly, indirectly, it kind of still links in with what Caden was getting at. So what's your point, Tim? Why are you twisting this into something that's not there? Read it again. She never said Jazz's parents were there when Jack came in. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I guess someone else has worded it in a dodgy way. That doesn't help, does it? Only that they were all outside crying at some point. No time indicated. Yes. There we go. See? Better language and wording. Doesn't take that much, does it? This is in alignment with Caden's version, where Renee comes by later. They're all outside crying, trying to make sense of what happened. Yeah, there we go. But Caden didn't say that they were all outside crying. Caden said that the girls at one point were in the house gathering in the kitchen crying. And then when Renee, Jasmine Milan's parents came, etc., it was weird as if it was all taking place inside, the cleanup, gathering up the firearms. No mention about being outside the property. So I don't know where that came from. I don't believe any of them, but Caden period. Yes, he may say a few different things at times, but he's the only one that stood up for Noah, while other stories keep changing. No. I mean, Patricia, when it comes to Caden said he was there on Saturday. That's when he first arrived at the party. In the private interview, Caden Pressey said he arrived at the party on a Friday. Caden said in the public interview that 30 to 40 people showed up Sunday night when the party really kicked off. But then Caden said in the private interview 30 to 40 people were present between Friday and Saturday. Caden Pressey also said in the public interview, Partners in True Crime, that at around 3 a.m, when about to go back to sleep, he saw Noah, Jack and Jasmine playing beer pong alive and awake. But then in the private interview, Caden said it wasn't 3 a.m, it was actually 3:20, even later when he was going back to sleep. And he didn't actually see Noah, he just assumed that Noah was present. Right? And there's a bit more to it. So make sure to do some more research, Patricia. Brooke, so what's different? Caden Pressey saying he was asleep? Whatever. Entire story makes a little sense to me. I tried to read it all and understand all. Why would you drive back? Another thing that doesn't sit right is I have to get back. I can't leave him alone. He shouldn't have been alone at that time. Truck driver, the other service person, Ellie, definitely not alone. I mean, I guess you could say, I can't leave my friend alone. But what about the two other truck drivers? What about anyone else present? Could be worded as, I can't leave my friend alone with strangers. I need to be there for Noah. Even at this time, as the best friend, I need to be present. He needs to have his best friend there, because without, he would be alone in a way. It comes down to language and wording. I took the part I have to get back, I can't leave him alone, to mean with no one he knows. Exactly, Robbie. Same wavelength as me. See, we're seeing little glimpses of more appropriate language and wording. It's taken time, hasn't it? Taken in different ways. You want to pause the video, you can always do that, but I don't want to spend too long. There are multiple screenshots that show the parents were called. Catacombs did leave out part of the sequence of events, probably 4 were given such a, let's call them parents. Oh no, we've got George Choden again, problematic individual. Obviously there's been false claims made that this George Choden account is me, but not at all, because George Choden is an impetuous prat who made false claims and, you know, a very incorrect observation about my channel in the past, questioning the credibility of my coverage. Obviously, George Choden failed to do his research in the past when it comes to my coverage on this case. But I'm so certain that there will be the odd rat watching right now, lurking in the background, listening to every word that I say, but somehow still manages to misunderstand, returns back to their daddy or their master, turns into another SJW. Oh my God, Rafs, he's racist, he's sexist, he's Islamophobic, he's xenophobic. Oh my God, he's such a naughty boy. Oh, I'm gonna get so triggered. It's interesting how similar people all gather together in one spot, a coven of prats, isn't it? Intelligent people hate me. That's what it should be renamed to. Anyway, what does George say? Yes, probably was given that. It was assumed partygoers were calling their parents, etc. But apparently, some just do not do that. All the focus on those that did call their parents, but absolutely no focus on those that did not. Somehow this hadn't been discussed at all. It's a very valid discussion point. If anyone cares to address, we'll get to that maybe at some point. Let's move on. I don't believe this, what Card said. They're all lying. Misreading text, delete it. Some official statement. Jack Newton to the house and told them all Noah was dead. Yeah. So we don't need to spend too long. Calling new investigation. Right, there we go. We've reached the end of the comments. What we need to do now is go over to the YouTube comments section from my video, recent discussions, whether they directly link on time with what we've just talked about just then, or it's completely different. It's still relevant to know Presgrove. Once again, to reiterate, Catacombs and what she was saying, defending Jack, as you would expect, whether in the right or in the wrong, whether she truly knows or not, or knows Jack is innocent. It's normal for people to stand up for one another, especially when you care about one another. It happens. Because it's not just been one-sided. It happened previously in the past, if you remember, where Jack Newton stuck up for Carter Combs, in which Carter Combs said in a private DM to a random person online that I'm going to beat the duck or the duck out of you, whatever. Basically threatening physical violence, right? As for the backstory, the context behind it, don't worry, it's all covered in a past video for that full understanding. So it makes more sense and it's a fair observation. You can always look back at it. But after that event, and when it was covered, Jack Newton said in a post on Facebook that, yeah, well, that person probably deserved it anyway. With what Carter said, for Carter to react in that way, well, then that person must have deserved it. Interesting way of putting it. But you can see, give or take, one sticks up for the other here, and then vice versa, returns the favour afterwards. There we go, it's pretty normal. Now, the only problem is that whilst Carter attempts to defend Jack, as in how Jack returned to the party house, it's very different to how Jack worded it himself in the last Partisan True Crime interview. So obviously they're not in sync with one another, and there's contradictions. Who's right, who's truly wrong? That's a bit of a red flag. So we put that aside. Let's now move on to YouTube. Not too many comments to get through. So let me just adjust it to the newest. Start from the bottom. There was an odd comment which is briefly short. We've got Teresa. Shout out to Teresa and Safia. Emojis. Safia, 15,000 subscribers milestone. Appreciate that. Yep, finally got there. TJ says, I hear you now. That's good to know. Tammy Bell, you were laughing at the men selling watermelon and the store there? We'll get to that later. Hang on. Got Cleo. What happened to the other comment page? No clue whatsoever. Victor, just my opinion. Caleb Newton hanging out, going to breakfast, want to get with Avery Combs, who's 22 and adult, can do what she wants. Seems like all the girls wanting did sleep with Noah. If Noah was attacked and ran over, I don't believe it's his inner circle of friends, but I do believe it would be Caleb Newton, and Jack knows about what is covering. Jealousy over a woman can get guys to do crazy stuff to help a jealous woman. This is just my theory. Okay. Teresa says, if it's true Caleb, a cop, no one wants to tell on him. He'd be capable of threatening someone into silence or silence someone, controlling body dump scene. If his body was in trouble, someone paying him off to get others to throw investigation in beginning. Perhaps if they were good kids, like he said, why not be interviewed like Caden stepped up for his friend Noah? Is there a video of what happened to Noah? Looking at the timeline, Ref displayed as telling of who was involved or seen what happened or who he left with or took him. I'd bet he started asking for a ride because he heard or sensed danger by someone or knew someone was on the way there to jump him possibly. He's seen something that was wrong. Can't wait for the arrest. Hope they all get involved. It would be a bit of a weird atmosphere if Noah did feel that people were on to him, whether it be from the party or those that could have arrived later. And in the meantime, Noah was trying to get away. But when you're showing more distress, though, and desperation, could that link with the side-by-side rollover, desperately getting into that vehicle in hopes of driving back home to escape from the place, but just being too drunk to drive, so rolling over and then being taken back into the house and he's not quite there with it and he's like, oh, no. But then again, when it came to the bedroom situation, if he woke up or he was more conscious then and he really, really wanted to sleep in one of the girls' beds, why do you want to do that when you may feel like you're in danger or someone's on to you? You'd probably try and leave once again. And do it in a rush. What else? He says he wasn't, but people are smart. They leave phone at home. It's easy to say you at home be leaving phone in house. How many do you think are involved? Yes, they leave phones at home or a buddy's house to do crimes or cheat. Someone won't snitch. Beth, I agree. They're adults. They can do what they want, although Caleb Newton is married, so there is that. Right? Tammy, he blocked me. Yeah, we'll get to that later. Beth, I agree, Ref. You should have been on from the get-go of the case. Sherry says, absolutely, it would have made a big difference. Appreciate that. Congratulations. Shout out to Cleo. Appreciate. Beth says, hello, evening. Yes, it's nice to get away from the attacks, Ref. That's good then. Thank you for the warnings. You're welcome. Yes, thanks for covering these names. No problem. I'll see if I can locate that picture of Noah for you. I want to say it was on the family page, but I'll double check. Okay, so that'll be good to figure out. And if you do reach ahead and you want to reach out, if you go to my channel page, whether that be Twitter or Instagram, something like that, there'll be links available to be able to reach. I found this post interesting in the army page, Raf. The question was, knowing Noah's black shorts were removed off of Noah's body at the scene, how did they get back to the party house? Do we know they got back to the party house, or could they have been taken back to a place of living where a partygoer could live? Right? Nina Grebin. I can answer how the black shorts ended up at the house after being taken off Noah. Renee Milan was at the scene by 6 a.m. and picked up the black shorts. There was a car that stopped and a passenger got out and went to Noah's body. Remember that comment, everyone? Truck driver is still waiting for Ellie to talk to him. Yeah, the problem is with that is it kind of goes against Kane Press's timeline, doesn't it? By 6 a.m. onwards, because by 6 a.m. onwards, the black shorts finally been taken off Noah's body, meaning that the likes of Tyler Hardy and Tyler H would have been present to see that happen too. but all they mentioned was when they first got there, they found shorts in the middle of the road, which turned out to be the white ones, thus meaning that the black ones have already been taken away earlier on, before 5:43, but after 5:30 when Caden left. So yeah, dodgy. Justice for Noah and family. Thank you, Raf. You welcome. Cindy, how do you say the name? Glenn, shout out. Sunny, congratulations. Appreciate that. Michaela, I was just shocked by these accusations, but I personally don't think that's true. That's good to know. Julie, awesome. 15k, congratulations. Appreciate that. Shout out to Julie. Mark, okay. I'm just some recovering drug addict, alcoholic. Nothing out there. Just get rid of that. Okay. Fair enough. Maybe not. What's this one? Shannon, hey, just for your information, if you're still following the story, Suzanne Simpson's husband is being charged with murder. Police haven't found a body yet. They just claim to have a good amount of evidence to support that charge. Okay, interesting. Maybe I could do a video about it, a brief one. We see where that goes. Obviously, the first video that was done, which was quite critical, kind of fell flat. So I take that as a sign that wasn't worthwhile, but spread some awareness still. Maybe I'll give it another try. John, 15k, well done. Raf, appreciate that. Beth, this was in the comments in the army page. I thought, here's the play. Noah ran his mouth Saturday PM about something very sensitive that he witnessed. Jack was told to get his attention. Sunday night they went out for a ride and his group was going to teach Noah a lesson. He figured something was up and went Jack Rabbit. They ran him down with the side-by-side and did a lot of damage. Noah got jammed up under the vehicle. He died there. They took him back to the house and washed him off in the driveway. The rest of the story is right there. You can see it. Maintained accident for 8 months. Right. I just find it hard to believe that Noah being washed off just outside of the party house when there's still key witnesses inside the house that could have looked through the window or opened the door at any point. And if there's CCTV cameras which literally point to the spot of where it may have taken place, that is just very dodgy in my opinion. And for Noah to run his mouth Saturday, well, more so that was because, from what Caden witnessed, Noah was yelling at Jack, starting off the argument because Jack was supposedly flirting and maybe doing more to Noah's girlfriend at the time. So there's that separate thing. Lindy, did the sensitive content have anything to do with Caleb Newton and a young person? Noah was making a reference with hand gestures and mouth of a specific sexual act in many photos. I'm wondering if he walked in on some of it, then proceeded to demonstrate the fact he's seen something throughout the evening. Right, so what Lindy is referring to here, I will demonstrate in just a second. Okay, so anyone still watching, be sure to stick about. Under control. Beth, great point. I'd heard that too. And it's coming under a somewhat current post, or was it very old? Justin Roy responds, well, it's definitely not an accident. It sounds like a premeditated beatdown that led to murder. That's not an accident. Read the autopsy report again. Definitely not an accident with those injuries. Okay, so Justin Roy's spoken. Christy, congratulations for 15k, Raf. Great job. Appreciate that. Shout out to Christy. We got Pop, or Popski. Good name. Hi. 15k subbed in time. Help you get there. Well done. Keep it up. What is a side-by-side? And then there's a comment there in response. So shout out to Pop. He's like a good individual. Vega says, got a quick question, WarLike. There is a rumour going around that you know for a fact that Kenny Veach is alive and you have been helping his ex-girlfriend cover it up. People have said that they have seen you with her and another person right outside of Vegas. Really? So my question is it true or just a person that looks like you? And also, do you wear hats? No, if you're talking about in real life, in public, I never wear hats. If you're talking about a person that could look like me, is there really another person that looks like me with a 6'2" height frame, 210 pounds, 22-inch width shoulders, 26, 27-inch quads, 16.5, 17-inch close to inch calves, 17.5-inch neck, close to 17-inch biceps? I don't think there'll be another person that looks quite like me with those dodgy eyes, the eyes to focus. We'll get back to Vegas comment maybe in a separate video just to do a bit more focus. Right, So what we need to really return back to is Lindy's comment about the mouth thing. So personally, I don't know how many photos it appeared in, but there was at least one photo of Noah Presgrove, which may have been taken on the Saturday night, where he had his fingers up against his mouth. Now, I'm going to reverse my fingers the other way, like the peace sign, because if I do it the other way around, I'm going to be a bit of a naughty individual, okay? Because it looks like the F whoever. So I'm just using the fingers the other way around, and basically it was like that. And no, this isn't some kind of Illuminati type symbol or anything, nothing Masonic, but like that. Think of it the other fingers the other way around, and then the tongue was stuck out in between. Now, I'm not going to stick my tongue out because it just seems a bit awkward to do so. But basically what that means is with the tongue sticking out is licky licky, something like that. In other words, it's basically where, I guess it could apply to any gender really, like female, female or male to female. What it's implying, depending on if Noah was directing it towards anyone at the party, which could be the theme of what people are getting at here, as in how it could conflict with another person or another relationship, if there's any conflict there, and kind of like naughty behaviour. Who knows what it could be aimed at, or if it's just Noah being drunk and messing about. But basically, short story is, from I guess a male perspective, that symbol by Noah is insinuating the activity of oral, whether that be from behind, the rear, or more likely commonly the front. Wherever there is a hole, an opening, there is an opportunity. So obviously the consent part is always most important. I don't know why I'm wording it like this, it sounds so fucking stupid. But basically an individual, such as a male, can use their mouth, more so the tongue, to stimulate the insides or possibly externally a certain part of a female, more so lower down. Whether there may be obstructions in the way, you could get hair in your mouth. Who knows, whatever happens, happens. Okay, this is not finding Bigfoot. Let's put that aside for a second. Landscaping experts or not, when someone is in close combat CQB style with a tongue and a hole, and that tongue goes so far in, wiggles about like that, I guess it stimulates. I wouldn't know, I'm not an expert. And then that makes the other person like, yeah, oh, something like that. And you get the idea, and then there might be a round of applause and Niagara Falls, the end. Dodgy activity, but it's no surprise when it's type of people there, and with the whipped cream, licking that off, licky licky, lick the cream off. Some other activities as well in between, being drunk as well, like being very loose, letting your hair down, and maybe more. It kind of makes sense. Still dodgy, but yeah, it makes sense. Now, hopefully I didn't traumatize anyone there. I said, trying to do it Dr. Wrath terminology, even though it sounds so fucking stupid. But is it that significant, a certain expression, sign language by Noah there? Probably not really thinking that much about it at the time, to be honest. But if there was some kind of, how do you word it, sexual tension or activity building, could that have been released upon someone or exchanged or reciprocated elsewhere, and in the crossfire somebody got caught up within it? Some may be directing towards Caleb caught up within it, or Noah, or Jack, kind of triangular stranglehold, which then led to it escalating. I mean, if on Saturday there was the theme of girl trouble, as in Noah yelling at Jack, not Jack having a go at Noah, but Noah having a go at Jack because Jack did something wrong, kind of sets the scene, the tone of how things started building. And whether there was an eye for an eye, you know, give back, revenge, who knows how it could go. We saw how Jack responded to his brother, older brother, Colton, when Colton was just simply talking to Carter, told off, you better not come back the next day. Well, from from what Cade and Prezi worded, he did return back. Well, if that's the case, then what did Jack think about that then? Unless they hugged and made up as well. There's a lot of hugging going on and crying. Interesting. Anyway, we need to move on to the shocking part. Wait, what I just said there, so dodgy, that wasn't the shocking part. No. We're moving on to the most shocking part within the case and community. Really highlights the type of people, the peasant-like mindsets that are present. This is just a singular case study, but you can apply it on a bigger scale too. You would have seen the odd comment, which I said earlier, we're going to look back at, we're going to follow up later. Well, that's what we're going to do right now. Let me show you what I mean. This is one of the first external comments by a problematic individual called Tammy Tinkerbell Goes the Bell Ring-a-Ding-Ding. Not quite, but we'll just call them Tammy. And they said, WarLike just blocked me. So one thing that's shocking, first of all, is the spelling. Now, I don't know if it was done intentionally or not. If it was done intentionally, I could kind of understand it. WarLike. War is lacking something. So yeah, it's a play on words. I'll give them that. But to be honest, I'm probably giving them too much credit because they probably just don't know how to spell. And you'll notice that theme later on. So has WarLike Wrath truly blocked Tammy Bell? No. I've never seen them before. I've never interacted with them previously in order to make a decision, right? And it'll make more sense later. Stick around. Tammy says, I told them on WarLike Wrath's channel to watch yours, criminal, YouTube page. And I called Wrath on making fun of people there. He was sad. He's the only on covering the Nona case. Now, me personally, I've never heard of the Nona case. Nona, Corona, Mona. The Mona Lisa. No, it's not exactly a case, is it? Noah Presgrove's case. So not only can Tammy struggle to spell, but does she really, or do they really know where they are when they don't even know the name of the case? Come on, Tammy, you can do better than this. This language and wording is really weak and piss poor. To say that I told them to watch your YouTube page, never saw that comment. Not at all. Now, if there's a chance that Tammy left a comment with a URL link to an external place, well, then YouTube would have auto-deleted it because they see that as spam. Just like how if I left a comment elsewhere, the same would happen to me. But clearly, Tammy hasn't taken that into consideration. Tammy says to Miriam, no thanks, WarLike Wrath makes me sick. Now, normally, to the best of my ability, most of the good people that have been present on my channel who may have needed it have been healed by me, my presence, and the whip. But as for Tammy, I seem to have a side effect on them because my presence makes them sick. That's unfortunate, unless you're just a lost cause and your mindset isn't quite in line with my presence, so you don't see eye to eye. Either way, supposedly Tammy will not be returning back to my channel. That's probably for the best. Now, as for Miriam, well, I think they might need to learn more from Tammy there because that cycle wasn't truly broken, was it? Anyway, now on my page, point of view, Tammy says, WarLike Wrath, he blocked me. Beth says, no way. Were you attacking him? Then if so, I can see why he would do that. Fair reasoning. Tammy says to Beth, no, I asked him what way he was making fun of a man selling watermelons and the store. So supposedly Tammy is claiming that I blocked this person because Tammy wasn't too pleased that I was making fun of a man selling watermelons. What? We'll make more sense of that later. Tammy says, he blocked me. I respond, if you were blocked, then your comments wouldn't be publicly visible, impetuous one. And as you can clearly see as evidence and proof, other people can see your comments, Tammy. If you were truly blocked by me, the channel owner, then nobody else would be able to see your comments on this channel, on this page, etc. So clearly you have got it wrong, Tammy. You have jumped the gun, jumped the line, been an impetuous prat, made false claims like others do. No wonder why you all group together. Same type of personality. So the context behind this Tammy individual is a person who is around within the Noah Presgrove case and is triggered because I supposedly made fun of a man selling watermelons on the side of a road. How does that even link to the case? Why is there so much focus on that instead of the real stuff at hand about Noah? Clearly shows the type of the person and mindset they are and what they focus in on first rather than the case at hand, just like others do elsewhere. It's typical. It's a peasant-like mindset. And I'm not talking about the physical wealth of someone or like another individual that claimed themselves to be a broke bitch. That's not my problem. But the reality is it's the wealth of one's knowledge and common sense. But as we've learned with time, common sense isn't as common these days. People lack it. Impetuous, egocentric plums, prats, planks. Day by day, that's what we're seeing. We've got enough planks to build Noah's Ark, okay? So peaceful Christ, if you have arrived once again, shout out to you. The Noah's Ark effect is in full order. If anyone else disappears down the line, if anyone stops covering it, oh, the cretins, the peasant mindsets can come back, okay? It'll be typical. I saw it in the Dylan Rounds case, that desperation. And this isn't me being cocky or narcissistic. These are just simple observations which I've seen with my own eyes and can be backed up by many witnesses over time. It's that typical red carpet treatment where they expect to be welcomed back after what they've done or said elsewhere and how they're talked behind my back. The odd individual that tries to claim to be smart. I blocked WarLike Wrath. It didn't work. I mean, previously on my channel, when you had Miriam talking to Vanessa saying, I blocked WarLike Wrath, and the giggling amongst each other. Okay, you do what you need to do. But when you block the channel owner of a channel myself, it does not work. I can still see all your comments. Not exactly smart, is it? But still got a lot of learning and growth to do with time. Maybe you'll get there someday. In the meantime, I've got more pressing matters at hand when covering this case or other cases out there with my extensive experience. But in terms of the watermelon situation, a bit more context there. I was on Google Earth Street View. I was getting an idea of the area of Warwicker and gas station and the possible location where Kate and Pressy and a group of friends got breakfast Sunday morning to get a close-up look at the place, CCTV cameras and whatnot. And it was close-ish. But along the way, there was a bloody truck almost on fire, trees collapsing left, right and centre, a missing person poster flyer, and what so happens to be directly next to it, a man selling watermelons. Now, I wasn't taking the piss out of that individual. I was making an indirect reference to Sharon's melons. Who's Sharon? A very good individual, quite positive, good sense of humour. But when it comes to her melons, very unique in many ways. The size, the depth, how full they really are. Oh, I mean, in the garden, growing melons, carrots, turnips, whatever else in between, bananas, or maybe I grow them. I don't know. Well, actually, yeah. I don't know how to put myself out. I grow bananas. I've got a massive banana to the side of me. Oh, is someone going to create a conspiracy all of a sudden and think that I don't? Well, how about I try and get it in a second? Okay? Yeah. Oh yeah, WarLike Wrath. Got a massive banana. Yeah. Probably a fake one or something. Or probably doesn't even exist. Or communicating with someone else who does have a banana, but it's some VPN banana, encrypted banana, a digital NFT one, not a physical copy. Don't worry. I've got it. Big banana, boy. Yes, it's still here, and the tip as well. And so, bitch, get off. In terms of fruits, let alone vegetables, it sounds like whenever I make fun of vegetables, fruits, people get triggered by it. And Tammy has been offended by me talking about Sharon's watermelons indirectly. That's a great shame. But I think at the end of the day, petty ass bitch, people are jealous of Sharon and whatnot. People are going to get jealous of Sharon's extensive clothing, dresses. I don't know at this point. Who knows what will happen next, but Sharon is worth it. I don't know why I'm getting all gay all of a sudden. Need to get a grip of myself, right? But you can see how strange things can come about, especially within this case and community and the way people respond. But it also shows the mindset of people, where they're really at, what they really think. The first thing that comes to their mind isn't even about Noah. It's about bloody watermelons. What's next? I'm gonna breathe, and someone says, oh my God, WarLike Wrath breathed? Oh my God, WarLike Wrath sneezed in a video? That must mean he's a paedophile. What? Exactly. They're the type of people we're dealing with. Peasant-like mindsets, impetuous, egocentric planks. More by the day, it will keep on going, no matter what case. At the end of the day, though, it's under control here. And for most part of it, those that do watch, present in its live premiere, watching in the background silently, or catching up later when they've got time, good individuals. It's all fine. And shout out to those that have supported the channel in recent time. With that all being said, my name's WarLike Wrath. We'll see what happens next. For now, goodbye and good night.